and I was a minister. When government facility was established and launched in Paris, I was there as a minister and you were there. And we had high hopes, a high budget, 500 million. Now the budget, how is about 100 million, it's not coming in. So we are before the MDGs. We have the Tunis Ministerial Declaration 2008. 2008 we have the Etiquette on sanitation. 2008 we had Sharm el-Sheikh, heads of states on water. So the political declarations are there, the wills are there. How to translate that on the ground? My belief that governments are not really committed. Because if you look at the water budget in every country is very low. Only your country, South Africa, is the only country that the water budget is higher than the military, than defense. With all of your jets, it's only South Africa is higher than defense. But they have to bring in water. We are struggling together to try to get the finance ministers listen to the water ministers. Because if you go to the budget, they are more interested in what is politically visible for elections, roads, bridges, electricity, yes. But Kampala, the heads of states, they have declared that Africa cannot develop if we do not increase our growth, economic growth rate by 12%. We are hovering of 6%. Today I read from Afdb is 4%. How do we get to 6%? They say invest in infrastructure. That's why you have the PIDA program, AUC, and the African Development Bank. But the PIDA program, infrastructure, energy, and water. And we've been addressing those separately. As he said, when you deal with water, electricity is there, hydro, and others. You know, food security, water. We should start addressing those 3 or 4 together. Take into consideration climate change, because climate change impacts on that. In Africa, we feel it more because of climate change, global warming. We are having either droughts or floods. So these are challenges that we face.
Sir, you can remain, sir. I just want to ask you a question because obviously it has implications for sanitation as well, for women's development as well, as Clarissa's been pointing out. But I want you to just speak to your own experience about the frustration of the advocacy, the difficulty of convincing governments that this should be a priority and it's not.
Yeah, that's a big challenge because we've been trying to do that for many, many years. But the biggest challenge we have in Africa is that as the government is trying to internalize it, I tell you, in 2.5 years as executive secretary, you know, most of the countries, they have changed their water ministers 3 or 4 times. So you start the game all over again. South Africa, for the last 2 years, you have 3 ministers of water, you know, and other countries. So you change, you know, as they are beginning to convince, it changes. So, but we have to continue to show them that, to know that you can, the lack of investment in water is bringing GDP. So we have to convince them that if you want the GDP to go up, you have to invest in water, because we have statistics on that. We have statistics in investment. We are talking private sector. They want to see profit investment. What is the investment in water? What will be yield? But finally, I'd like to say that in urban area, this is unfortunate where you have income. They are not paying for water. You are not paying for water in Accra. What you are paying is the services. The water is not priced. The water is the cheapest in urban areas. They are charging you per liter about 1 cent. But the rural area, he's buying those yellow 5 jerry cans for so much, and they are the poorest. But we in the urban area, we have the luxury because it's so cheap compared to electricity. Another thing that they say that the urban cannot afford, the rural cannot afford to pay for water is not true. Now go and see the level of mobile in the rural area. And they have to buy credit and scratch card. We have done studies on that. And they will rather buy the scratch card than pay for water. So we have to pay for the water, not from the donors anymore. We are tired because I'm dealing with the donors. And they are telling me, look here, you have to show that your countries are really put water priority, invest, and then we'll complement what we should not be going for the donors. We talk about the treaties, transfer, taxation, and tariff. Those are areas that we can help to build up the resources and help the African Water Facility, which is meant to help us in Africa and rouse it for the rural area. That's, I think, challenges that we face and we need to address.
Excellent points. Now, Mashep, I know you want to make a point, and I know you've been waving at me all afternoon. And I'm going to let you do that. I'm going to let you do that, but I just wanted to alert our panelists that because of time now, I want them to now, they're going to forcefully make their final concluding points about the urgency of now. What needs to be done now
the thing is, the question of payment is not an issue. It is the process of engaging and working in partnership with civil society which becomes a problem. In the village where I come from, we have got no choice. 20 rand for a 200-liter drum. Even the poorest of the poor family can find 20 rand because water is life. If she doesn't get it, she will die. And another thing is you cannot separate sanitation and water. If you think you can provide sanitation and not provide water, then it's a failure. Because even the education that you say the wash will not operate. Where are they going to get the water to wash after they've gone to the toilet? It's useless. So I'm calling for a holistic approach to water delivery which takes into account sanitation and food security. It becomes paid for because in the rural areas, I'm a social worker and a social activist. In the rural areas where I come from, mental retardation of chronic hunger is 40%. The children have been condemned to death before they can walk with their 2 feet for their future. We need to take that into account. That is a social responsibility which a country has got to carry because that is a human right. It's not a privilege. It's like water. It's a human right. Health is a human right and everything. Therefore, all those things cannot be separated. I call on, we can pay for service maintenance services. But if you plan an implementation strategy with us, payment is not a problem. We will always find it. Where do we find the 20 rand to buy 200 liters of water, dirty water from the river? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bien, je crois que je remercie beaucoup ce cas de suite qui a été beaucoup trop élogieux et surtout il a oublié son propre rôle parce qu'il est pratiquement en activité concessionnelle de la banque à l'initiative. Les donateurs, grâce à cette réunion de Paris, avaient accepté le tiers à l'époque, c'était 1,5 milliard de dollars, pas rien. Et nous avions suggéré, le package était que les pays devaient mettre 1,5 milliard aussi, un tiers, et les donateurs venir avec une contribution directe de notre 1,5 milliard. Donc en fait, on avait pu réunir 4,5 milliards, bon, sur papier à l'époque, mais c'est quelque chose qui aurait pu être mis en œuvre. À côté de cela, moi je pense qu'il y a beaucoup d'institutions. Il y a la Banque mondiale évidemment, il y a la BAD qui a maintenant plus de ressources qu'avant, qui peut réactiver l'initiative, surtout si on va faire le replenishment l'année prochaine. Mais il y a beaucoup d'organismes qui sont actifs en Afrique. Il faut qu'on les mobilise et en Isberg, nous faisons juste cela, grâce à M. Payen d'ailleurs, qui est le patron de notre équipe financière. On a travaillé sur la Banque mondiale,